Hey Gemini, how's it going? My name is Dre. This is your reading for September 2017. Thank you guys so much for all of your comments and your support. I really appreciate it. If you want a reading, just email me. So let's just get started. Center, we have the Three of Swords. We also have the Queen of Swords. I'm using Tarot Apocalypses. We have the Chariot, the Ace of Cups, the Hermit in reverse, King of Wands in reverse, Four of Wands, the Emperor, Nine of Pentacles in reverse. As an outcome, we have the Two of Swords in reverse. We also have the Seven of Cups as an additional card. So you guys are obviously trying to move out of some disappointment, or I feel like that there is a lot of anxiety and a lot of hard feelings that are occurring right now that I feel like it's because of this Mercury retrograde. It's simply coming back, it's revisiting itself, this time in the form of perhaps just a lot of anxiety or a lot of fear. The cause of this, I do want to see what this is. Obviously, with Three of Swords, it can be heartbreak. It could also just be severe disappointment. But with these other cards here, I'm seeing that you're trying to establish a new status quo. You're trying to, that's what's going to be important, especially in Virgo season. Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by Mercury, which at the time is retrograde. So now is an important time as ever to try to get to a point to where you're able to restructure your life in a way that is a lot more solid than the ground that was there before. Virgo season is all about preparation, getting everything ready for the winter, for the holidays, for, all that stuff, having our ducks in a row as we're moving out of summer. And the cards that came up were the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Cups in reverse. So I feel like that, there's a huge burden you're letting go of, an emotional burden, a physical burden, an obligation. So it could be, and it's a cycle of completion. So either a lot of you, let's say you're moving jobs, or this could be actual heartbreak where, like an old lover has come back. Mercury retrograde, that's always a time for somebody in our past to make a reappearance. And so right now you're in this point of trying to figure out what to do with that, how to deal with this, because it's not a fresh wound. I do feel like that this is an energy that's just coming back, that's sort of forcing you to deal with it in a way that sort of reveals your true inner strength, Gemini. That reveals itself in a way in which you're able to use the best aspects of your personality, of what people like about you. I feel like whatever is driving you currently, that's sort of what you have to look forward to. That's sort of where you have to keep your eye on. Because I do see that there are pretty tricky situations here. With the Queen of Swords here, and, we also have that Three of Swords and the Two of Swords, I'm seeing it as a call to you to actually be able to step into a position of owning all the tough things in your life and looking at it in a painfully honest way, in the way a queen would. She looks out for fairness for others, but also for herself. She doesn't, this is a queen that doesn't take any nonsense. Out of all of the queens, perhaps. Um, and so, the lesson here is to not come across as cold or come across as uninviting during this time, or to come across as too vindictive or manipulative. It's really a time for you to actually, with this Hermit in reverse, to take the lessons, to take the blows of however Mercury retrograde is treating you, and put it into, and put the lessons into practice. And I feel like with this Four of Wands, you want to. So in some sort of way, like if you're looking for a promotion, there are cards here wherein you might be up for a promotion, or there might be opportunities around you to increase how much money you're making, or how much security you have in your home, or how sort of closer you are in getting to your goal. Whether or not that's if you're graduating, or if you're just moving on to a different level. In whatever area in your life you're in right now. Be it physically, you could be moving, or you could be dating actually people of quality this time. So some of you might feel emboldened and empowered by that, especially if you feel like you're connecting yourself with where your heart wants to be. So I feel like it's important to not ignore the pain ignore the disappointment, to remember those lessons, to remember all those times where, when something went wrong and how you dealt with it and what you learned from that. And it's not so much as reveling in that pain, because you've already allowed this burden to pass, this Ten of Wands, and with this Eight of Cups in reverse. But, if somebody is coming back to sort of be back on their same bullshit, or it could be minor, like, if you get a traffic ticket and it's like, you kind of have to go through all that again. I see you guys dealing with that pretty easily. There's a lot of agency happening here. There's a lot of you being able to recognize, again, what your strengths are and what truly matters to you. Because with this Two of Swords in reverse, I don't see that there being much time for you to sort of be wishy-washy on some things, where you have to make a decision, where you have to sort of be blunt and direct, to the detriment perhaps of other people's emotions. But again, with this Queen of Swords here, you can't really care too much about how other people are feeling, as long as you know that you're right. If you're making decisions where, people are steady coming to you for money or whatever, being unafraid to just say no, not having to explain yourself. A queen doesn't need to explain herself. So I feel like some of you, that's going to be the energy sort of riding into this month where, or into this season, or a month, whatever, where the lesson here is to be more, just being more forthright. Because Gemini, the energy in itself can be vacillating, because you want to please, or at least you want things to be calm enough, to where you have that freedom of movement. If there's drama, especially concerning you, that's more of a burden than ease of movement for Gemini. And as well with this Ace of Cups, just reminding you to sort of to lead with good intentions, and to lead with purity of heart, in a way where you want to attract, if you're dating, you want to attract lovers. If you're creating, you want to attract inspiration. If this is specifically with one other person, your loved one, you want to be able to use that love as a means to, heal any problems, or keep pushing forward and overcoming certain obstacles. So, the danger here is, of course, to beware of, if you are in a relationship and there is a lot of tension here wherein you're more dependent upon the other person, or the other person is more dependent upon you, and that's the burden here that's causing you this heaviness in your heart, where you do feel like you can't really escape, even though I feel like the universe is telling you to escape. And it could be just a stressful work situation, but I'm really seeing a love situation. In the Seven of Cups here, it's easy for us to sort of fool ourselves into thinking things are a lot more fine than they are, or even to delude ourselves into thinking that there is a positive outcome, despite all the evidence of the contrary. Um, Believing that if we simply just work hard enough at a situation or try to fix someone, that it will come out as good in the end. And not to nothing's impossible. It depends on your outlook, but I'm of the belief that people can't be changed, especially if you're in a love relationship and somebody keeps giving you the same sort of somebody keeps making you feel insecure within the relationship, meaning that you can never really, there's just your intuition and it feels like you can't really trust them at most times of the day, or with what they say or with their actions. And so sevens are all about breakthrough, and it's all about fighting through uncertainty within ourselves and spiritually in order for us to reach this different conclusion, to get to the next level of being able to live in a place where our karmic slate is wiped clean and we're able to reap the benefits of our perseverance and of our struggle. So yeah, that's what sevens are. But with the Seven of Cups, it's essentially about with this Eight of Cups in reverse, meaning that there is some like back and forth tension between this. Like we're not going to be able to have a better future for ourselves if we keep imagining if we keep imagining and if we keep holding on to the positives of the situation instead of looking at the real negatives. And I see the negatives here as being that burden, being that stress on your heart, on your emotions. You're just around a draining figure, and it's something that is impacting your decisions on a daily basis. If you're in a relationship, and if you're single, that's just the fact. Some of you just might not feel like you're completely on your path yet, or that there is still a lot of loose ends. There's still anxiety about whether or not you're able to get everything done, or do everything properly, or do everything in a way in which people will, people will respect you. People will listen to you. Because the Gemini energy in it of itself, it's this masculine sort of assertive energy. But by the same token, more willing to play mediating role, or the role of an advocate, or the role of the intermediary instead of being the leader. And so I feel like a lot of you, this is the time to try to step more into that. Try to find what makes you the most comfortable, and what hidden aspects of yourself you've overlooked in the meantime. Why does it feel like you have this sort of lack of self-worth, to the point where, if you want to speak your mind or say something, that you're letting either other people speak for you, or you're more willing to take a back seat. When I feel like now, especially if you want to be in a more, if you want to really take control of your life, you're going to need to make those decisions, and be more willing to step into that role. And I don't see this as being a time for you to play a supporting role. Only a supporting role in the sense that, you might have to take, extended breaks from certain people or certain situations to sort of get your head right, to sort of be willing to plan and recalibrate. Again, Virgo season, Mercury in retrograde, what your next move is going to be. So keep that in mind. I feel like that will be very important going forward. So I pulled a card from the Whispers of Love tarot deck, or oracle deck, excuse me. And we have new love. Embrace this opportunity of love that is here. This may pertain to work opportunities or spiritual growth. So yeah, like I said, a lot of you are in a position right now where, just to give you a better look at that card, Sorry for the glare as always. I just love these cards. But yeah, like I said, some of you are looking for upward movement in your life in terms of the money you make, the career and the love you attract. So continue to treat everything as if it is a new opportunity, something new for you to fall in love with. This Ace of Cups, I feel like, is going to be your saving grace going into this period. So really try to keep that in mind. Try to live your life as drama-free, as stress-free as possible, and be a healing force to those around you, and allow people to heal you as well. Allow other people to, whatever this frustration, this disappointment, this heartbreak, this burden is. Threes are about communication. So communicate that with people. Don't be afraid to sort of let others know how you feel, which is hard for Gemini, which is hard for any air sign, anybody with a lot of air energy. You do want to just play it cool. You just want to play it aloof. But, even if you can't confide in other people, write about it. If you're not comfortable talking to people like that, you could always go to like an internet chat room, not chat room, like a forum, YouTube. The comment section are sometimes a good community, depending on which videos and which person, But you have plenty of resources at your fingertips, Gemini. If it is in that situation where you feel like you just have to express yourself, which is the mode that you guys want to be in, a more forceful mode, a more authoritative mode, a mode in which you feel like you deserve to be here, in which you are comfortable. So keep working toward that, Gemini. And I will see you guys next month. So bye.